I stared at the elegant calligraphy that reduced my entire existence to 3 words: wife of son, no birth date, no maiden name, not even my first name, Emery, which I'd always thought was distinctive enough to remember. Just wife of son, floating beneath my husband's branch of the Fox family tree like forgotten punctuation. Isn't it magnificent? Monica's voice dripped with the same artificial sweetness she'd perfected over the 12 years I'd known her. The genealogist traced our lineage back 6 generations. Pure bloodlines, you know. I forced myself to smile, gripping my mimosa glass so tightly I worried it might shatter. The pre-anniversary brunch crowd buzzed around us in Monica's marble-floored conservatory, cooing over the massive family tree display that would be the centerpiece of next week's golden anniversary celebration. It's something, I managed, though I noticed my family's history isn't included. Monica's perfectly lined lips twitched. Well, dear, we tried, but your background is so unverifiable. Better to focus on what we know for certain, don't you think? Unverifiable. Right. Because apparently my father's 30 years as a high school history teacher and my mother's immigrant parents didn't qualify as notable enough for the precious Fox family records. Mom, it looks amazing. Dante appeared beside me, placing his hand on my lower back. Too little, too late. Though maybe we could add Emery's full name at least. Oh, darling. Monica patted his cheek. The calligrapher has already finished. We wouldn't want to disturb the aesthetic. Besides, this is about celebrating your father's and my journey. Speaking of which, she turned to address the room. Everyone, please gather round. I watched my husband's spine straighten automatically at his mother's command, his hand dropping from my back. Some habits die hard, especially when they're drilled into you from birth. As you know, Monica projected her voice across the conservatory, next weekend marks 50 years since Lyle and I began our legacy, and what a legacy it is. She gestured to the family tree. From the noble achievements of Isaiah Barnes in the Civil War era to the present day, the Fox name has stood for excellence, integrity, and impeccable breeding. My 8-year-old daughter, Alice, tugged at my sleeve. Mommy, why isn't your name on the tree? Because Grandma's I caught myself. Because sometimes grown-ups make silly mistakes, sweetheart. Dante, Monica called out, tell everyone about the special toast you'll be giving at the ceremony. I turned to my husband. Toast? He shifted uncomfortably. I was going to tell you. Mom asked me to speak about family traditions. And values, Monica added. The importance of maintaining certain standards. The mimosa turned bitter in my mouth. I'd spent 12 years swallowing these little daggers, telling myself they didn't matter. 12 years of watching my daughter slowly being molded into their image of propriety and privilege. Excuse me, I muttered, heading for the powder room. Inside, I gripped the marble counter and met my own eyes in the gilt-edged mirror. A knock startled me. Em? You okay? It was Elise, my best friend, and the only reason I hadn't lost my mind at these family gatherings. I opened the door, pulling her inside. Did you see it? The family tree? Yeah, she grimaced. Real subtle, that mother-in-law of yours. Though as a genealogist, I have to say, wait, I grabbed her arm. You're a genealogist. Last time I checked. Why? A plan started forming in my mind. How hard would it be to research someone's actual family history? I mean, beyond the sanitized version they want everyone to see? Elise's eyes widened. What are you thinking? Monica wants to celebrate bloodlines? Fine. Let's give her exactly what she wants. I pulled out my phone. I have some names and dates, starting with the great Isaiah Barnes himself. This is going to end badly, Elise warned, but she was already reaching for her own phone. When do we start? Now. I straightened my shoulders, hearing Monica's laughter float through the door. They want to erase me? Fine. But first, I'm going to show them exactly what it means to air out a family's dirty laundry. Back in the conservatory, Monica was still holding court, champagne glass raised. "To family," she declared. I lifted my own glass, meeting her eyes across the room. "To truth," I whispered, and for the first time in 12 years, I meant every word I said to that woman. "Holy shit," Elise whispered, her face illuminated by her laptop screen. "Em, you need to see this." We were huddled in her home office 3 days after the brunch, surrounded by stacks of printed documents and empty coffee cups. The rain outside matched my mood, dark and ready to break. "What did you find?" I leaned over her shoulder, squinting at the archived newspaper article from 1872. "Your beloved Isaiah Barnes? The great patriarch Monica won't shut up about?" Elise pointed to the headline. He wasn't Isaiah Barnes at all. His real name was Isaac Blackwood, and he was wanted in 3 states for fraud. My heart started racing. What kind of fraud? The worst kind. He posed as a doctor, sold fake medicines to desperate people. Some died. Elise scrolled through the article. Then he vanished overnight, leaving behind a wife and 2 kids. Popped up 6 months later in another state as Isaiah Barnes, married another woman, and started the noble fox lineage Monica's so proud of. I sank into the chair beside her. A bigamist con man who killed people with fake medicine. That's their precious patriarch. Gets better. Elise pulled up another document. The only reason he avoided prison was that he bribed local officials, used the money he stole from his victims to buy himself a clean slate and a fancy new identity. My phone buzzed. Dante calling again. I ignored it, just like I'd been ignoring his texts, asking where I was spending all my time lately. "Monica paid thousands to have this family tree researched," I said. "There's no way they didn't find this stuff." "Oh, they found it." Elise opened her email. "My contact at the genealogy firm confirmed it. Monica specifically requested they exclude any unpleasant discoveries from the final report. Paid extra for the sanitized version." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "So my actual documented family history is unverifiable, but they actively buried their own criminal ancestry?" "Pretty much." Elise turned to face me. What exactly are you planning to do with all this?" Before I could answer, my phone buzzed again. This time it was Alice's bedtime FaceTime call. I answered, trying to sound normal. "Hi, baby. Ready for bed?" "Mommy, when are you coming home? Daddy made pasta, but it wasn't as good as yours." My throat tightened. "Soon, sweetheart. Mommy's just working on a special project." "Is it for Grandma's party? She came over today and said we're all going to dress up like princesses." I met Elise's concerned gaze. "Something like that. Sweet dreams, baby. I love you." After hanging up, I stared at the scattered papers around us. My father's voice echoed in my memory. "Truth matters, Emmy, even when it's uncomfortable, especially then." "We need to dig deeper," I told Elise. "Court records, property deeds, everything. If Monica wants to talk about legacy, let's show everyone exactly what that legacy is built on." Elise hesitated. "I'm all for exposing lies, but this could blow up your whole life. Your marriage, Alice's relationship with her grandparents." "You mean the grandparents who are teaching her that appearance matters more than honesty? That it's okay to erase people who don't fit your narrative?" I grabbed another file. "Besides, my marriage?" I laughed bitterly. Dante's spent 12 years watching his mother slowly delete me from family history. He can spend the next 12 dealing with actual history. Elise sighed but turned back to her computer. "There's a courthouse archive in Springfield that might have the original trial records. We could drive up tomorrow." "Perfect." I pulled up the anniversary party schedule on my phone. Monica's giving her big speech about family heritage at 8. That gives me exactly 15 minutes after to present my own version of the Fox family story. "You're going to do this at the actual anniversary party? In front of everyone?" "Where else? Monica invited half the city's elite. If she wants an audience for her lies, she can have an audience for the truth too. My phone buzzed again, a text from Monica this time. Darling, don't forget your fitting tomorrow. The photographer wants all family members in coordinating colors. Though perhaps cream isn't your best shade? I showed Elise the message. See? Death by 1,000 cuts. Well, I've got something better than color coordination. What's that? I held up the newspaper article about Isaiah's victims. I've got receipts. As if on cue, thunder cracked outside. Elise jumped, then laughed nervously. Okay, that was creepy. Like the ghost of Isaiah Barnes himself is watching. Good. I started organizing the documents into folders. Let him watch. Let them all watch. In 1 week, the Fox family's perfect image is going to shatter like the fake glass house it is. And then what? I thought about Alice, about my father's integrity, about 12 years of subtle humiliation. Then we see what grows in the ruins. Your mother was a freedom rider? Elise gaped at the black and white photograph I'd spread across her dining room table. How did I not know this? Because unlike some people, my family doesn't broadcast their history like it's a marketing campaign. I traced my finger over my mother's young face in the Civil Rights March photo. She never wanted recognition. She just did what was right. We'd spent the past 5 days building 2 family trees. One was mine, real, raw, and human. The other was the true Fox family history, complete with court documents proving Isaiah's crimes. My phone chimed with Monica's latest text. Final guest list confirmed. Senator Williams and his wife, the Richardsons from the Arts Foundation, and Judge Patterson's entire family. Do try to be punctual, dear. Senator Williams? Elise whistled. That's some high-profile audience you'll be dropping this bomb on. Before I could respond, the front door opened. Dante's voice called out, Em? Your car's outside. I quickly gathered the documents while Elise intercepted him in the hallway. Hey, stranger, just helping Em with some research. Research? Dante appeared in the doorway, looking tired. Is that what's keeping you out until midnight every day? Alice keeps asking for you. The guilt hit hard, but I steeled myself. I'm preparing something special for your parents' anniversary. Mom said you haven't confirmed your toast yet. She's getting anxious. Oh, I'll give a toast, all right. I met his eyes. One they'll never forget. He ran his hand through his hair, a nervous habit I once found endearing. Em, please, whatever you're planning, can't you just play nice for one night? Play nice? I slammed my folder shut. Like your mother played nice when she excluded my entire existence from your family history? Like she plays nice every time she undermines my parenting or makes snide comments about my background? She's trying her best. No, she's not, my voice cracked. And you know what's worse? You've never once truly stood up to her. Not once in 12 years. Dante stepped back like I'd slapped him. That's not fair. I always support you. Really? I pulled out my phone and showed him Monica's text about the cream-colored dress. Did you support me last week when she made that crack about my complexion not suiting the family photos? Oh, wait, you were too busy laughing with your sister about it. It was just a joke. Everything's just a joke to you, Dante. Everything's just mom being mom. Well, guess what? I'm done laughing. Elise cleared her throat. I'll give you 2 a minute. No need. I gathered my things. I'm leaving anyway. Got more research to do. Wait. Dante caught my arm. What's this really about? Talk to me. I looked at his hand on my arm, then at his face. The face I fell in love with before I understood what loving him would cost. You want to know what this is about? Come to the anniversary party. Pay attention during my toast. You'll learn exactly what your family's about. I pulled away and headed for the door, but his next words stopped me. Mom's right, isn't she? You're trying to cause trouble. I turned slowly. No, Dante. I'm trying to tell the truth. Something your mother wouldn't recognize if it wore one of her precious cream-colored dresses. Back in my car, I called Alice's babysitter and asked for a video chat with my daughter. Mommy, Alice's face filled the screen. I learned all about great-great-grandpa Isaiah today. Grandma showed me pictures of his big house and said he was a hero. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Did she now? Well, baby, sometimes people aren't exactly what they seem. Sometimes the real heroes are the ones nobody talks about. Like who? I thought about my mother marching for justice, my immigrant grandparents working double shifts to fund my father's teaching degree. Like your other great-grandparents, would you like to hear about them? Yes, tell me everything. So I did. I told her about her great-grandmother who fought for equality, her great-grandfather who taught history to underprivileged kids for 4 decades. I told her about courage that didn't need marble mansions or fancy parties to prove its worth. When I finished, Alice was quiet for a moment. Then she asked, Mommy, why isn't that on the big family tree? Because some people are afraid of real stories, sweetheart. They prefer pretty lies. That's silly, she declared with 8-year-old certainty. Yes, I agreed, thinking of the documents in my folder, of Monica's carefully curated guest list, of all the truth about to burst into the open. Yes, it is silly, but don't worry, Mommy's about to fix that. The anniversary weekend arrived with all the subtlety of a Broadway production. Monica had transformed the country club ballroom into what she called a heritage celebration, complete with enlarged historical photos and that damned family tree centerpiece. Welcome, welcome, Monica air-kissed guests as they arrived, her cream-colored gown practically glowing under the chandeliers. Senator, so delighted you could join us. Judge Patterson, you remember my son Dante and his wife. I forced a smile, the USB drive in my clutch feeling like a loaded gun. Elise had helped me prepare a presentation that would follow Monica's own family tribute. All I had to do was swap the drives during dinner. Mommy, my shoes hurt, Alice whispered, tugging at my hand. I know, baby. Just a little longer. I'd fought with Monica about Alice's uncomfortable formal shoes, but lost, as usual. There's my girl, Monica swooped in, pulling Alice away. Come, darling, let's show everyone how beautifully you can recite the family motto. I started to object, but Dante touched my elbow. Let it go, Em. It's her big night. Everything's her big night, I muttered, but fell silent as Monica clinked her glass for attention. Beloved friends and family, she began. Tonight we celebrate not just 50 years of marriage, but 5 generations of excellence. Our story begins with the remarkable Isaiah Barnes. I watched the crowd lean in, entranced by Monica's practiced charm. Even the senator nodded appreciatively as she described Isaiah's entrepreneurial spirit and medical innovations. If only they knew he was innovating ways to poison people, Elise whispered beside me. They will, I whispered back. Soon, Monica's voice swelled with pride. Isaiah Barnes built a legacy of integrity that flows through our veins. His principles guide us, his courage inspires us. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Just a small sound, but in the perfectly orchestrated quiet it carried. Monica's eyes found mine, sharp as daggers. Something amusing, dear? No, I said. Please, continue telling us about integrity. A muscle twitched in her jaw, but she recovered smoothly. As I was saying, family is everything. Speaking of which, Dante has prepared a special toast about our traditions. My husband stood, straightening his tie. Thank you, Mother. You know, growing up in this family taught me the importance of... I tuned him out, scanning the room instead. The senator checking his watch, the judge's wife adjusting her pearls. All these powerful people gathered to celebrate a lie. And now, Monica announced after Dante finished, a tribute video I've prepared highlighting our journey through the years. This was my cue. I'll help with the technical setup, I offered sweetly. Monica hesitated, then nodded. How thoughtful. At the AV station, I quickly swapped the drives while pretending to adjust cables. My hands shook slightly, but the switch was clean. Ladies and gentlemen, Monica raised her glass as the lights dimmed. To family, to legacy, to truth. To truth, I echoed, sitting back down. The presentation began normally enough. Old photos, dates, achievements. Then, exactly 8 minutes in, everything changed. The screen flickered. Suddenly, instead of Monica's carefully selected images, there was a newspaper headline, "Wanted, Isaac Blackwood for criminal fraud." Monica's champagne glass crashed to the floor. What is this? More headlines appeared. Court documents, police reports, the dual marriage certificates proving Isaiah's bigamy. "Turn it off," Monica commanded, but I had already locked the system. The room fell silent as victim testimonies scrolled past. Women and children dead from Isaiah's fake medicines. Families bankrupted by his schemes. "This is outrageous," Monica's voice shook. This is slander." "Actually," I stood up, my voice carrying clearly, "it's all public record. Your precious Isaiah Barnes was a con man who killed innocent people, and you knew. You paid to hide it." Gasps rippled through the crowd. The senator was already heading for the door. "How dare you?" Monica advanced on me, face contorted. "You ungrateful, spiteful—" "Grateful for what?" I cut her off. "For erasing me? For teaching my daughter that appearance matters more than truth? For making your son too weak to stand up to you?" "Emery," Dante started, but I held up my hand. "No, you don't get to speak right now. None of you do. For 12 years, I've listened to you glorify this false legacy. Now you're going to listen to the truth." The presentation continued, detailing every crime, every victim, every covered-up scandal. When it finally ended, the silence was deafening. Monica turned to the remaining guests, trying to salvage the situation. "This is simply a misunderstanding." "The only misunderstanding," I said clearly, "was me thinking I had to earn my place in this family. But now I see, the Fox legacy isn't about honor at all. It's about lies." I grabbed Alice's hand. "Come on, baby. We're going home." "This isn't over," Monica hissed as I passed. I looked her straight in the eye. "You're right. It's just beginning." Dante showed up at midnight, still in his tuxedo, looking like he'd aged 10 years in 3 hours. "You couldn't wait?" he demanded, bursting into our living room where I sat rehearsing my final toast for tomorrow's main ceremony. "You had to humiliate my entire family at the pre-party? Funny how you're worried about their humiliation, not their lies." I kept my voice low. Alice was asleep upstairs. "I tried to help you." He paced frantically. "I asked Mom to add your family to the tree. I begged her." I froze. "What?" "Last month. I told her it was important to me, to us. She said no, and you told me you never brought it up." My voice was ice. "You looked me in the eye and said you didn't want to start drama." He stopped pacing. "I was trying to protect you." "From what? The truth? Because that's all I did tonight, tell the truth." "The truth?" He laughed bitterly. "The truth is you just destroyed decades of my family's reputation. The senator left, the judge, half the board members of my firm were there." "Good." I stood up, my prepared notes crumpling in my fist. "Let them see exactly what they've been celebrating." Please." His voice softened. "It's not too late. Cancel your toast tomorrow. Say you were emotional, that you made a mistake. Mom will forgive you." "Forgive me?" I stepped closer. "Your mother has spent 12 years trying to erase me, and you lied to protect her, to protect yourself. I was caught in the middle. No, you chose a side. Every time she belittled me, every time she excluded me, you chose her side." A small voice from the stairs made us both turn. "Daddy, why are you yelling at Mommy?" Alice stood there in her unicorn pajamas, clutching her stuffed rabbit. The sight of her broke something in my chest. "Nobody's yelling, sweetheart," I said quickly. "Daddy and I are just talking." "About the party?" Grandma called. She was crying. Dante shot me an accusatory look. "See what you've done?" "What I've done?" I kept my voice steady. "Alice, honey, come here. Remember what we talked about? About how some stories are true and some aren't?" She nodded, climbing onto my lap. "Like Grandma's stories about great-grandpa Isaiah?" "Exactly. Sometimes grown-ups need to tell the true stories, even when it makes other grown-ups upset." "Don't." Dante's voice was sharp. "Don't use our daughter to justify this vendetta." "Vendetta?" I laughed. "You think this is about revenge? This is about making sure our daughter grows up knowing that truth matters more than appearances, that she's worth more than wife of son on some sanitized family tree." Alice looked up at me. "Mommy, are you and Daddy getting divorced like Katie's parents?" The question hit like a physical blow. Dante sank onto the couch, head in his hands. "No, baby," I stroked her hair. "We're just figuring some things out. How about you go back to bed? I'll come tuck you in again." After she trudged upstairs, Dante spoke quietly. "What do you want from me, Em?" "I wanted you to choose us. Just once. I wanted you to choose your wife and daughter over your mother's precious image. And tomorrow? What happens at the main ceremony?" I picked up my notes. "Tomorrow, I finish what I started. The whole story comes out, including the proof that your mother actively covered it up. You'll destroy her." "No." I shook my head. "She destroyed herself when she decided lies were more important than people. Just like you destroyed us when you decided keeping peace was more important than keeping faith with your wife." He stood slowly. "I need some space to think." "Take all the space you need. I'm done shrinking myself to make room for your family's delusions." At the door, he paused. "What happened to us, Em? We used to be happy. We used to be a lot of things. Real wasn't one of them." After he left, I went upstairs to check on Alice. She was awake, holding her rabbit. "Mommy, is it bad that I still love Grandma even though she told lies?" I sat on her bed, fighting back tears. "No, baby. Love isn't bad, but neither is telling the truth, even when it hurts, especially then." I kissed her forehead. "Sometimes the truth has to hurt before it can heal." She nodded solemnly. "Like when you clean a cut." "Exactly like that." I tucked her in tighter. "Now sleep. Tomorrow is going to be a big day." "Will you tell more true stories?" I thought about my final toast, about the documents still to be revealed, about Monica's carefully curated guest list about to witness the complete dismantling of her precious legacy. "Yes," I whispered, "tomorrow everyone gets to hear the truth." The main ceremony was even grander than the pre-party. Crystal chandeliers, string quartet, ice sculptures. Monica had spared no expense in crafting her perfect moment. After last night's disaster, she'd doubled down on security, including someone monitoring the AV system. But she'd forgotten about Elise. "All set," my friend whispered, slipping into the seat beside me. "I convinced the tech guy I was from the video company. Your presentation is queued up right after Monica's speech." I squeezed her hand. "Thank you for everything." "Don't thank me yet. Look who just walked in." Dante entered with Alice, both dressed impeccably. He'd moved to his parents' guest house last night, taking our daughter with him, until things calmed down. "Ladies and gentlemen," Monica's voice rang out, somehow steady despite everything. "Despite some unfortunate disruptions yesterday, we're here to celebrate love, legacy, and family." The remaining guests, about half of yesterday's crowd, applauded politely. Monica had spent all morning doing damage control, calling it a technical mishap and a vindictive prank. Before we begin, I'd like to share the true story of our family's foundation. I almost admired her nerve. Almost. The lights dimmed. Her carefully edited video began playing. Isaiah Barnes in his military uniform, the mansion he built, his medical innovations. A man of vision, Monica narrated. A healer, a pioneer, a patriarch whose blood runs in our veins. I stood up quietly, making my way to the podium. Monica saw me coming and faltered slightly. Whose principles guide each generation? Like the principle of honesty? I interrupted, my voice carrying clearly across the ballroom. Or the principle of taking responsibility for your crimes? Security, Monica hissed, but I was already at the controls. No need, I said calmly. I'm just here to help tell the whole story. Isn't that what tonight's about? The complete family history? The screen flickered. Elise's cue. Suddenly, Monica's sanitized video was replaced by newspaper headlines, but not just about Isaiah this time. What's this? Monica demanded. This, I addressed the room, is the document showing you paid the genealogy firm $50,000 to suppress criminal records. This is the letter from Isaiah's first wife begging for help after he abandoned her. And this, I clicked forward, is the death certificate of Sarah Miller, age 6, poisoned by Isaiah's fake medicine. The room erupted in whispers. Monica lunged for the podium, but I held my ground. You think yesterday was bad? That was just the preview. Today we're going to talk about how the Fox fortune was built on blood money, how every generation since has actively worked to bury the truth. Stop this immediately. Monica's face was scarlet. Why? Isn't family history important? Isn't that what you've been preaching my entire marriage? Emery. Dante's voice cut through the chaos. He stood up, holding Alice's hand. That's enough. No, it's not enough. I clicked to the next slide, proof of Monica's cover-up payments. Your mother wants to talk about legacy? Let's talk about the legacy of lies she's forcing onto our daughter. Alice's small voice piped up. Daddy, is that why Grandma's crying? The room fell silent. Monica stood frozen, tears streaming down her perfectly made-up face. You want to know what real legacy is? I continued, softer now. It's not mansions built with blood money. It's not family trees that erase the inconvenient branches. It's truth. It's integrity. It's admitting when you're wrong. I clicked one final time, showing my own family tree. Modest, honest, real. These are Alice's other ancestors. Teachers, immigrants, civil rights activists. People who built things instead of destroying them. People who told the truth instead of burying it. Get out, Monica's voice shook. Get out of my party, get out of my family. Gladly. I stepped away from the podium. But first, let me leave you with one last truth. You didn't just lie about Isaiah. You lied about everything. Your perfect family, your superior bloodline. It's all built on fraud, just like your precious patriarch. I turned to the stunned guests. The documents proving everything I've said are being emailed to you now, courtesy of my friend the genealogist. Consider it our anniversary gift, the gift of truth. Mom? Dante's voice cracked. Is all of this real? Monica couldn't speak. Her perfect world was crumbling, and no amount of money could stop it. I walked to Alice, kneeling before her. Ready to go home, baby? She looked between me and her grandmother, understanding more than a child should have to. Can we get ice cream? Yes, I smiled, taking her hand. We can get ice cream, and I'll tell you a story. A true one this time. As we left, Monica's sobs echoed through the ballroom. But for the first time in 12 years, I didn't feel small anymore. I felt free. The fallout was immediate and spectacular. By midnight, my phone was exploding with notifications. Local news wanted statements. Former Fox family associates were distancing themselves publicly. Monica's carefully curated social media accounts went dark. You've got to see this, Elise said, bursting into my kitchen the next morning. The Historical Society is rescinding their Lifetime Achievement Award to Monica, and 3 board members resigned from the family foundation. I poured her coffee, trying to ignore the empty chair where Dante usually sat. Alice was still at the guest house with him, and the silence felt like a physical presence. "Mom?" Speaking of silence breakers, my daughter's voice carried from the doorway. I turned to find her with Dante, both looking exhausted. "Hi, baby." I opened my arms and she ran into them. "I missed you." "Grandma's really sick," Alice announced. "She won't come out of her room." "She's not sick," Dante said quietly. "She's hiding. The press is camped outside their house." "Good morning to you too," Elise muttered, gathering her things. "I'll call you later, Em." After she left, Dante sat heavily at the kitchen table. "The firm's partners want to meet with me. Something about reputational concerns." "Are you about to blame me for that too?" "No." He rubbed his face. "I'm not here to blame you. I'm here because our daughter needs both her parents and because—" He hesitated. "Because you were right." I sat down, pulling Alice onto my lap. "About what?" "Everything. Mom's manipulation, Dad's weakness, my cowardice." He met my eyes. "I've spent my whole life trying to keep the peace instead of standing up for what's right." "Daddy, are you crying?" Alice reached for him. "No, sweetheart." He caught her hand. "I'm just realizing some important things. Like how sometimes the strongest thing you can do is tell the truth, even when it hurts people you love." The doorbell rang, interrupting the moment. Through the window, I saw Monica on our porch, looking nothing like her usual polished self. "Take Alice upstairs," I told Dante. Please, she doesn't need to see this." Once they were gone, I opened the door. Monica burst in without waiting for an invitation. "Are you happy now?" Her voice was raw. "The foundation is collapsing. The senator won't return our calls. Your father's firm is questioning Dante's position. You've destroyed everything." "No, Monica. You destroyed everything the moment you chose lies over truth." "Truth?" She laughed hysterically. "Truth doesn't build legacies. Truth doesn't maintain social position. Truth doesn't—" "Doesn't what? Let you pretend you're better than everyone else? Let you erase people who don't fit your perfect narrative? I built this family." "No," I stepped closer. "You built a facade, and now everyone knows what's behind it." "Mom," Dante's voice came from the stairs. "That's enough." "Darling, please." Monica reached for him. "We can fix this. Issue a statement. Say your wife was confused, emotional." "Stop." His voice was firm. "Just stop. For once in your life, stop trying to control everything." "I did it for you, for our name." "No." He shook his head. "You did it for yourself, and I let you. We all let you." Monica sank onto our couch, her carefully constructed world crumbling around her. "What am I supposed to do now?" "Tell the truth," I suggested. "All of it, before someone else does. The truth will ruin us." "The truth already has," Dante said quietly. "But maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe we needed ruining." A small face peeked around the stairway. "Grandma?" Monica stiffened. "Alice, darling, is it true that great-grandpa Isaiah was a bad man?" The question hung in the air like shattered glass. Monica opened her mouth, probably to spin another lie, but Dante cut her off. "Yes, sweetheart, he did bad things, but that doesn't mean we have to keep doing bad things too." Monica stood abruptly. I can't do this." She headed for the door, then turned back. "When you've calmed down, when you're ready to be reasonable." "Reasonable?" I laughed. "Like you were reasonable when you erased me from the family tree? When you paid people to hide your criminal ancestry while mocking my unverifiable background? I did what I had to do." No, Dante said firmly. You did what was easy. Now we're all doing what's right. After she left, Alice tugged my hand. Mommy, can we make a new family tree? A true one? I looked at Dante, who nodded slowly. Yes, baby. I pulled her close. We can make a new one, with all our stories, the good ones and the hard ones, because that's what real families do. And Grandma? Dante knelt beside us. Grandma needs to learn that too. It might take her a while. Or forever, I added softly. Or forever, he agreed. But we'll be okay either way. The thing about truth, I told the room full of journalism students, is that it doesn't stay buried. Someone will always dig it up. I clicked to the next slide, the now infamous Fox family tree with all its criminal branches exposed. The story had taken on a life of its own, becoming a case study in how wealthy families manipulated their histories. Any questions? I asked as I wrapped up my guest lecture. A hand shot up. Did your mother-in-law ever apologize? No, I smiled. But she did something better. She disappeared to Europe and stopped trying to control our lives. After the lecture, I found Dante waiting outside the hall. How'd it go? Good, though I'm still not used to being the one telling other people's stories instead of having mine erased. He winced. I deserve that. You deserve a lot of things. I fell into step beside him. But you're trying. That counts for something. We walked across campus in comfortable silence. Things weren't perfect between us. Probably never would be. But they were real. That was enough. Alice wants to show you something, he said as we reached the car. She's been working on it all week. At home, our daughter sat surrounded by papers and photos, her tongue stuck out in concentration. Mommy, come see. I knelt beside her. She'd created her own version of a family tree, but not like Monica's pristine calligraphy. This was messy, colorful, and gloriously honest. Look, she pointed. Here's great-grandpa Isaiah, but I put what he really did. And here's great-grandma Rosa from your side, with her protest signs. And here's Grandma Monica in Europe with her new boyfriend. I choked on my coffee. What? Dante handed me his phone, showing a social media post. Monica in Paris, looking younger somehow, with a distinguished-looking French professor. Dad's handling it better than expected, Dante said. Actually started therapy. Says he should have done it decades ago. And Sonia? Still not speaking to us, but she did remove Proud Fox family descendant from her bio, so progress. Alice tugged my sleeve. Look, Mommy, I put you right in the middle. Not just wife of son, I wrote everything. How you're brave and tell the truth and make the best pancakes. Tears pricked my eyes. It's perfect, baby. Can we hang it up instead of the old one? Absolutely. Speaking of hanging things up, Dante cleared his throat. The Historical Society called. They want to do an exhibit on family history manipulation featuring the Fox case study. They asked if you'd consult. I raised an eyebrow. Seriously? Apparently, after our story broke, dozens of other families came forward with similar experiences. Hidden crimes, erased spouses, buried pasts. You started something, Em. We started something, I corrected, by ending something else. The doorbell rang. Alice ran to answer it, then called out, Mommy, it's Aunt Elise. My friend burst in, waving a folder. You're not going to believe this. Remember how we thought Isaiah only had 2 families? Try 4. I found 2 more marriage certificates in different states. Still digging? Dante asked, amused. Always. Elise grinned. Truth is like an onion. There's always another layer. Alice tugged at her aunt's sleeve. Want to help me add more stuff to my tree? I left space for all the secrets. Secrets aren't always bad, I said, watching them settle down with markers and glue. Sometimes they're just stories waiting to be told. Dante slipped his arm around my waist. Remember when you said karma grows wild? Yeah? Look at all this. He gestured to Alice's honest tree, to Elise sharing more discoveries, to the pile of letters from other families thanking me for inspiring their own truth-telling. This is what grew from the ruins. Not perfect, but real. My phone buzzed. Another interview request, this time from a documentary filmmaker. I showed it to Dante. You should do it, he said. Tell the whole story. Our daughter already is. I nodded toward Alice, who was now explaining to Elise why she drew Monica's new boyfriend with a beret. Think Mom will ever come back? Maybe, but not until she's ready to be real too. Alice called us over. Look, I added Daddy's new job teaching architecture instead of working at the mean law firm, and Mommy's lectures about truth. And look, I drew our house bigger than Grandma's old mansion. Why's that? Elise asked. Because our house has real stuff in it, not fake stuff that breaks when you tell the truth. I met Dante's eyes over our daughter's head. He smiled, a real smile, not the practiced Fox family version. Out of the mouths of babes, Elise murmured. Speaking of truth, I picked up a marker. Want to help me add the latest Isaiah discovery to the tree? Always, Alice said firmly. We have to put all the truth on there, even the hard parts. Especially the hard parts, I agreed, because that's what makes it ours.